In this video, we're going to take a look at font formatting. This is pretty basic stuff. If you've used any Windows applications at all, you're probably familiar with this. It is similar to the formatting in Word and other Windows applications. And everything we're looking at in this video is on the Home tab, and it is in the font group, which starts with this vertical line and ends with this vertical line over here. So this is the stuff we're going to be looking at. Okay. Before we start applying any formatting commands, we need to select what it is that we want to format, and I'm just going to select the entire spreadsheet by clicking to the left of the A and above the 1 up here. So now everything is selected. Any formatting I do will apply to the entire spreadsheet. And we're going to start off with our font name up here, and Windows has a lot of fonts, and we got two things called theme fonts up here, and then everything else is listed down here below. They're in alphabetical order. Unlike Word, it does not list your most recently used fonts up here. I wish it did, make it a little bit easier. So one of my favorite fonts is Verdana, so I'm just going to type the letter V up here. There's another one that starts with V, so Verdana is not coming up yet, but as soon as I type the letter E, I should get Verdana. And now I've got a couple of choices. I can just click here. I still have to hit Enter or Tab. I'm going to hit Tab, and when I do, it moves over, the selection moves over to the font size over here, which is currently 11. And we've got options here. When you're dealing with smaller numbers, the font size increments by 1. Then when you get up here, it starts incrementing by 2 for a while. And eventually it starts incrementing by more than that. And so you can pick whatever size you want to. And I'm just going to, we'll do 12 points for right now. And by the way, if this looks different on your computer than it does on mine, it may be because I've gone down here and I have increased the zoom factor to 160%, just to make it easier to read when you watch the video. So you can change the font size wherever you want. If you don't like the numbers that are here, you want to put your own in, just type on top of the number that's there. So let's say I want 15 is not there. So I'm going to type a 15 on top of it and hit Enter. And now I've got a 15-point font. The next two buttons over, this one will increase the font size. Notice right now it's on 15. If I hit this, it goes to 16. If I hit it a second time, though, it does not go to 17. It goes to 18. And what it does is it simply goes to the next number in the list over here. It doesn't go by ones. It just moves you to the next increment up on the font numbers list over here. And then we got one that will make the font smaller. And so it went from 18 to 16, should go to 14 on the next one, and then 12 on the next one. And then I think from here on down, we're doing 1 point at a time. So we go to 11 and then to 10. We'll just stop there at 10. Okay, down here we've got bold, italic, and underline, which work pretty much the way they do in just about every Windows application. Notice also, if you look at the little tooltip that popped up there, the keyboard shortcut, which works in almost all Windows applications, is Control-B. I'm just going to click on it, and it's a toggle button. You can see it's highlighted now, so it's turned on. And when I click on it a second time, it turns off and the highlighting goes away. Italic works the same way, wants to turn it on, wants to turn it off. Underline, note that underline underlines the contents of the cell. It does not underline the entire cell itself. For that, you have to go and do borders over here. And the other thing I want to point out about underline is that you have two choices. You can do a double underline as well as a single underline, and the letter D is what shows up here when that happens. Okay, and again, that's a toggle. I'm just going to click on it one more time and turn it off. And now we got borders. And before I do borders, I'm going to make a smaller selection here. I'm just going to select the numbers I've got down here, and we'll do some borders for them. And we got a whole bunch of choices here. And the only thing you really have to remember is that any border selection you make here applies to the entire selection. So let's say I do right border. Then I'm going to get a right border on the right edge of the selection. I'm not going to get a right border on every single cell. I've still got the green selection outline there, so you can't really see what happened. But when I click off of it, now you can see that I did get a border on the right side of what I had selected. I'm going to reselect that, and we're going to go look, and we've got all kinds of options. Again, everything here applies to my selection. So the top and the bottom, the left and the right will either get me the top of my selection, the bottom, or the left or the right of my selection here, but nothing in the middle. If I want to turn off borders, there's an option. If I want all borders, let's click on that one and click over here, and I get borders around everything that was in the selection. Let's go back and reselect those. And I'm going to do no border, get rid of my borders. And now I'm going to try, the next one I'm going to try is, I'm going to skip one here, and we're going to do thick outside borders. And you noticed it jumped a little bit because the border added a little bit of height to this. So I've got a thick outside border here. And again, it's outside, so it's around the outside of my selection. And now what we're going to do is, let's say, you put that on there, and then you realize you want borders on the inside as well. So I choose all borders here, and you see it jump back a little bit. And I lost my thick outside border. So when you reapply borders, it takes the newest one, and in this case, it got rid of my thick outside border. So if you want, a thin border on all the cells on the inside, but you want a thick one on the outside, applying the outside one has to be done last. So if I click on thick outside borders, now I've got thin borders on the inside and thick borders on the outside. So that's how you do that. We've also got some choices down here at the bottom for more borders. And when you select that, this Format Cells dialog box comes up. We can change the style of our outline over here. And I'm going to click on a different style here. You notice nothing happened. This is my little preview window over here. Nothing happened. And nothing will happen until I actually go to the preview window and start clicking on some of these borders. The color is automatic, which is going to be black in this case. Let's pick a different color. Let's pick red so it'll stand out. And still, I do not have red borders. But once I start clicking on the edges here, and I can click here, or I can click here, that should turn it off. Click on it again, turns it back on. I think it's easier just to click on the diagram here rather than click on the buttons down below. So I'm going to put a red border on the outside of that. And I'm going to click on OK. And now when I click off, I've got that dotted red border around the outside. I'm going to do another selection here. We're going to go back and we're going to look at more borders. And this time I'm going to select a different style. I'm going to select a different color. So we'll do blue. And then I'm going to put that on the inside. So I'm going to click on the vertical line on the inside. Whoops. What happened to my blue? Let's try blue again. Now I'm going to click on the inside here. And I'm going to click on the horizontal one on the inside. And now everything that's interior should have a blue outline. Everything that's on the outside should have a red kind of dotted outline. So that's the way you get something like that. The other options I have next are, I've got some options for a fill color, and that works exactly the way you'd expect it to work. We've got a list of standard colors down here that will always be available no matter what you do, and we've got another set of colors up here that are going to vary depending on what theme you've chosen. Okay, so these are the theme colors for the current theme, and the theme colors are going to be here on my page layout tab. And over here on the left, I've got a bunch of themes that I can choose from. And as you choose different themes here, a number of things change. The font changes, some of the colors change, and some of the styles change. And we're not really going to see anything right here because I am not using the defaults for the Office theme, which is the default. I changed them to red, I changed them to blue. If I had not changed them but just left them that way, I might have gotten some changes here, although usually the default is black for stuff like that. But this does affect your styles, which we'll look at in another video. Okay, let's click off of that. And let's go back to the Home tab. And the last thing is font color, so I'm going to select some text here, and we're going to change the font color. And I know what I'll do here. I'll change this to orange. And that was from a theme color. Now I'm going to go back to my page layout, and I'm going to go to themes, and I'm going to pick a different theme. Like, let's do facet. And I click on facet. And if I go back now to my Home tab and click on the down arrow, and it's the same box, but with these theme colors, the 1, 2, 3, 4, the sixth column, the second one from the bottom is going to be kind of a dark green. So the position stays the same, but the color is going to totally change. So you need to be careful. If you want to do themes, then I recommend that you select the theme early on. Otherwise, if you go back and change the theme after you've already done some formatting with some theme colors, all of your colors are going to change. So let's go back. We'll go back to the Office theme here. And now we've got brown. Actually, I guess they called it orange. We've got orange text here again. And let's go back to our Home tab, and let's go to our font color. So you can pick any one of these predefined theme colors. The standard colors, there's 10 of them down here. They are always going to be there. And if you don't see what you want, you can always go to more colors here, and you can pick your own. And every color on a computer can be determined by its red and green and blue component. If you know exactly the color that you want, you can go in here and put the red and the green and the blue. Otherwise, you can go up here and you can click. Every time you click on a cell or a pixel, you get some variations. It looks like we've got, I'm guessing that's either 8 or 16 variations. Probably 8. So you can go from very light to very dark on that color. When you switch to another color, again, you go from very light to very dark on that color. So there are over 16 million colors on a computer, and you can pick any one of those 16 million colors by changing the red or the green or the blue over here. Okay, let's go ahead and close that. And the last thing I want to point out in the font box here is we've got a dialog box launcher, this little funny looking little box with an arrow in it. And when you click on that, it opens up this dialog box. And most of the time when you click on one of these dialog box launchers and you get the little dialog box to come up here, most of the options on here are things that are already on the ribbon up here. So we've got font name, which is already here. We've got, font style, which is already up here. We've got font size, which is already up here. We've got underline, color. What is not available here is these 3 options down here. Now notice there's also 5 other tabs. Those 5 other tabs do not really have to do with what's in this box, though. So we will look at those some other time. Those actually come up when you do some of the other dialog box launchers. Like here, you click on this one, you get the alignment tab. Here you click on this one, you get the number tab, and so on. And that brings us to the end of this video on font formatting in Excel.